What's going on, everyone? I'm Ben.
I'm Rom.
Welcome back to the One Piece versus 4K podcast, where we compare the One Piece 4Kids anime to the Funimation dub, sometimes sub, and throw comparisons to the manga. We're back again today for episode 48, which is also episode 48 from the 4Kids side of things. We'll get to what episodes we covered in the Funimation dub when we get there, because everything's so crazy right now, cutting episodes left and right, cutting major arcs. But yeah, before we get into that, what's been going on with you, Rom?
So actually, regarding like the One Piece world, actually kind of some significant news with the One Piece world. So as far as the anime is concerned, apparently, actually, no, before I say that, I'll preface it as so the chapter that was recently released, which was chapter 1043, it broke the fan base. Um, it was there's this lurking legend that was introduced right after the time skip, and basically a big thing happened at the end of the last chapter, and it continued on to this chapter where we see the conclusion of this big thing, and then right near the right basically throughout the chapter and especially near the end, the lurking legend was name dropped, and it broke like so. Let me actually describe the how like the chapter gets kind of released, right? So obviously, the One Piece chapters, like it's a global it's a global phenomenon. Like so, it's places all over get the chapters, and they send it off to these different locations so that they can translate it into their local language, and then they can go ahead and publish it when it's being published regularly on Sundays. So it's like the chapters, so they send out the chapters, I think, on a Monday to some chapters, and we don't know which one, but one of the location sites leaks the scans that like the scans of the chapters that they send, and someone actually pulls out some key facts, and they make like a list of like major events that happened in the chapter, basically bullet points of what happened in the chapter. And it was so insane. The initial leak was so insane that so many people were spoiled to what happened in the chapter before, even because so basically Monday you get leaks that come out. Tuesday he continues the leaks. He or she, I think it's a he. They continue putting out more as they start to read and translate what's going on. They'll put out more like major points. Wednesday they release the raws. What I mean by the raws are, I think it's Wednesday, maybe it's Thursday. I think it is actually Wednesday. They release the raws. What the raws are basically straight up like the actual like scanned chapters. Like I think they'll take a photo of every single page in that foreign language, and they'll post it on there. And then Thursday, the translators, the fan translators, start to translate the raws into a format that's more readable online. And then I think Friday morning is when it's usually like late Thursday, early Friday morning that they publish it into their website. And obviously, these are fan translation. They're not official translation. They're fan translation. But the thing about the Friday translation is it's basically like an official release, but the translation are by the fans and not the official. And then usually Sunday is when you have the official release by the official translation team. So the spoilers that they put on Monday and Tuesday broke the community. Like it's just like what happened was so
Why'd you read
big.
it? Right? Why'd you read it? It was so big that you weren't able to not see the spoilers.
I think the last several weeks, just because of how often they've been going on buys, I kind of started to read the spoilers. And so I actually did read the spoilers before it was spoiled, because people who would wait for the fan translations on Fridays, they were getting spoiled because that's how big these spoilers were. That like people who would just read the spoilers, the major head points, it was so big that they went on Twitter and it was like trending. I think. I mean, at least that's what I think happened because I'm not on Twitter at all nowadays. I go on there from time to time just to like listen in on certain spaces, but like in terms of like, I don't have the Twitter app on my main phone. So from what I heard, like, it was like trending as soon as like the spoilers were coming out because of this major event. Even the people who just stick to the fan translation scans that come out on Friday, even they were spoiled that they started reading that. And one of the things that they did that I've never seen before are, so on on Wednesdays when they would release the raws, they normally just release the raws. Like they're just like, okay, here's the raws of all the photos, like all the different like drawn out panels and stuff. Because of how hyped the spoilers were, they actually did a rough translation of the raws, and I
Wow.
rarely, I actually don't think I ever seen it done the way they did it this time. Like it was insane how crazy people were with it. It was so insane that when the fan translations came out on Fridays, usually a lot of the One Piece reviewers, they tend to wait until the official translation comes out on Sundays to do a review, but the spoilers were so like big that they're like, some of them were spoiled. And some of them they're just like, okay, it's like so big they avoided Twitter, so they're just like they went ahead and did the fan translations. They read the fan translations and they did the review video on them because it was big. It was as big. So yeah,
But
it
what
was.
happens? But what are none of them? Are none of them actually? What is the manga released under? Is it Shonen Jump?
What do you mean?
What's the official manga like for One Piece? Who releases that?
It's Shonen Jump.
Yeah. So are none of these YouTubers actually sponsored by Shonen Jump?
I think one of them is like, I think he's like, I think he has some partnership with them,
Did he
and he's the only one who actually doesn't read the fan translations.
did he
Like,
read the fan translation this time?
no, 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 he didn't. He's he has.
So so everyone else that you're saying everyone else that usually doesn't actually did, but he didn't. Okay, that's what I'm wondering because if he does, then he's gonna lose his sponsorship.
Yeah, and
If he did
actually,
a
like a lot of
video
people.
early.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, a lot of people kind of like, they don't look at him favorably because ever since he got like a sponsorship with them, he's been he's been like, apparently he's been like yelling at people for reading like the
Oh yeah,
pirated laws and stuff. And it's like,
dude. The
I
only
don't know.
reason you're doing that is because you're sponsored by them.
Yeah, basically everybody pretty much calls out how like he's only doing this after he got sponsored by them. I think I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's possible that even he also used to review the fan translations. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. That's what I saw on some of the subreddits where people would claim that he used to do this too, but then as soon as he got sponsored, he started yelling at people for reading the fan translations. I'm not sure. I think he was the only one. I think along with a couple of others who waited until the official translation came out on Sunday. But like, but yeah, a lot of people started to read uh, the fan translations on Fridays just because of how big it is. Like it was like insane. Like, um, and like, fortunately, since I'm not really on Twitter that much, like, I probably would have not be spoiled. And that's the thing. Like, and here's the other thing that happened is that uh, we're on a bye next week. There's no chapter, and the week after we're gonna get another chapter, but the week after that is apparently like some Shonen Jump special thing that's going on, so they won't be releasing a chapter then. Um,
So
so
is there like a cliffhanger? So are you thinking it's gonna be like they're gonna do the same thing again where they're gonna do like a rough of the what do you call it?
oh, the Raws.
Yeah, are they gonna do like are they gonna actually complete the Raws again? You think?
Nah, I don't, unless it has something major like what happened in this chapter.
Okay.
I think they'll just leave the Raws. They'll go back to their normal
So
you know.
it was only a huge thing in that one chapter. You don't think it's going to be like something huge next week, anyways?
It's possible just because of how big that this chapter was that the next chapter they'll do it. Um, it certainly is possible because everybody, they actually, in the subreddit post when they said that they're on a buy next week, they're like, yeah, One Piece is on a buy next week, and then they're like, sorry. I mean, dude, that's how big this chapter was. At least for the community, like it was like huge. I mean, like apparently it was like really trending on Twitter, even like general Twitter, it was like trending. So, yeah, it's a momentous occasion basically, like and and so yeah, because like one chapter in 3 weeks because obviously next week is a buy, following week we'll get one, and then the following week will be a buy before they go in their normal cadence. But it's and the reason I said I'd mentioned this before the news on the animation is so apparently someone hacked into Toei and I think they messed with One Piece or something. So One Piece is going on an indefinite break until they can resolve this issue or something. So the anime is kind of currently on hiatus until they resolve this issue. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and I think the reason the hack happened is because of how big this chapter is, and because because of the buy and the big thing that happened. I feel like that factored into the hack.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the thing is like I mean like the next few chapters are already done. Like it's
But they're
already
still
drawn out.
like, but like, I don't get like what's the point of them hacking? Aren't they still like 20? How many episodes are they behind from manga versus anime?
Oh, I mean they usually try to be like a year behind.
Yeah, so like, like if they hack, they're not gonna get anything. Like, how are they gonna get any information?
Oh, I'm not really
If
sure.
anything, you want to hack Shonen Jump so you get the next information about what's in progress, right?
Uh,
Like hacking Toei is not gonna do anything.
yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the mindset was behind all of this. Maybe they confused Toei. They think they have relations with that. I'm not really sure. I think like a bunch of the different animes got hit up, and then One Piece happened to be one of them and stuff. Um, I don't know. Uh,
Toei just like, sorry, anime is canceled
yeah, at
forever.
least for the time. Yeah. But yeah, not only that. So yeah, that's what's been going on with One Piece. One of the other things I wanted to mention is Attack on Titan. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Still haven't
But
watched anything past like the first half of the first season.
okay, that's fine. I think there is going to be a movie. Um, I think there is going to be a movie
Oh,
because
that's gonna
someone,
continue what happened where it left off.
yeah, because like someone mentioned how season 4 part 2, which is the one that's currently airing, which is supposed to be the finale season, is only 12 episodes, right? And I haven't watched a single episode at all this season. So then I realized that, oh, okay, so the next episode is actually episode 11. I decide to watch the trailer for episode 11 to see where they're at, and they are like nowhere near like the final events. Like there's
Mm.
like a lot of big events, and they're nowhere near that. And I'm like, how are you going to wrap it up in the next two episodes if
Nah,
you're
man, they're not gonna even do a movie. They're gonna do part three, season four, part three, season
I
four.
mean, it would be
It's gonna be
worth.
like it's gonna be like the bullshit. You know how they did? They made the shortest book in all of Lord of the Rings lore into three movies, like with the Hobbit.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
they're gonna do it like the Hobbit. They're gonna make a whole nother season. That's my prediction. It's gonna, or not a
Yeah.
whole nother season. Well, they could call it a whole nother season if they wanted, but they probably might either do part three or they'll do like a whole other season.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like the whole bullshit that they did even like with the Harry Potter movies. Like at the end, they're like, "This is the
oh yeah,
final
part
movie,
one.
part one," and then like also what's that? Twilight did it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine that. I mean, it would be the first time they would do a part three if they were to do a part three. But um, some people were thinking that there could be like a movie with the final events, and that's what it's looking like because it's like if there is only
But you
12
said they were
episodes.
so far ahead. How long can a movie be? 2 hours? Like, and episodes are like 30 minutes each at max, right? 20 something minutes. So like if you make it a 2 hour
Yeah.
movie, that's still not long enough. Or or
Um.
or you think it could be covered in four more episodes?
So they're in episode 11. They're about to be in episode 11. So if the rumors are true that there are only 12 episodes, then they have two 30-minute long episodes to conclude, which is obviously not enough time. I could see it where, the episode 12 ends near this one event and then the movie takes on where
That
they
event.
end.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously they go on the dream sequences and stuff because like there's a couple of dream sequences that happened, as well as the major battle. So I guess it's going to gear up to where they have like an hour and a half long movie or something. That's going to be the conclusion of the show.
They
And
should they,
my
they
god.
should stretch it to another season, or or part three.
I mean, it would have to be a short part because I don't think it's enough parts to be like another huge, like, 12 episode
They're gonna
season.
add
But
in they're gonna add in filler just for the anime to
yeah,
so they'll appease people that were pissed off at the ending of the manga, because you already
yeah,
said that there's already talks about some stuff possibly changing.
yeah. So. How should I put this? Like, so there is like an official ending that they put on the official stuff, but then there's also these extra pages that were either leaked or released in Japan that weren't released officially or something. That kind of goes further into detail of what happens.
See, they're gonna add those
Um,
in. They're gonna
I think,
expound upon those for the anime.
yeah, I feel like if they were to do something different from the manga ending, it's just the manga ending had this. Maybe the anime ending has the extended pages. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Um, yeah. Uh, Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. It's definitely like an interesting show. The ending is what it is, and yeah. Um, yeah, I guess it's going to have to end in a movie. I could see how it would fit into a movie. Yeah, if they don't want to do a movie, then they would have to do at least four more episodes after episode 12. Like they'd have to do like four more episodes because some of the events, like it's just you can't conclude it in two episodes. You need at least like four more episodes in order to have like a proper conclusion. So yeah, but yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on in like the anime world. What's been going on with you? How's the streaming going?
I haven't been streaming at all, but I I was on the stream. So my wife Laura did a 12-hour charity stream. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Um,
Hmm.
and we raised a little bit over $1,000 on that day for American Cancer Society. Um,
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then for the next week after that, my wife streamed a whole bunch of people in her community streamed, like the people that are in her Discord, and then like all the streamers that she works with. They all
Mm.
did it, and I joined in some of their streams, like playing games like Halo and stuff. And anyways, at the very end, after everything was said and done, after the whole week was over, we got to over $2,600 raised. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
for the American Cancer Society. So it was a lot of just me tuning into streams and helping Laura out with various things throughout the week. Um, but yeah, it was a success, and we raised the money. And then, uh, yes, like a couple days back, Laura and I started playing a game that we had started like last year. We started trying to finish it. It's this game that was released on Super Nintendo and then re-released on the Nintendo DS, called Chrono Trigger, and
Hmm.
it's like a classic RPG. I mean, like everyone that's played it, it's like known as a classic RPG from like like the Super Nintendo era. And we finally beat it. I mean, we played like 11 hours on. I'm trying to think. On Sunday, we played for like about 11 hours, and then yesterday we finally finished up. We maybe played for about 2.5 more hours yesterday. But
Okay, okay.
yeah, we finally beat that game after. I mean, that game's pretty short, but there's just like I don't know, like a lot of the. I feel like it's just so harder to go back to some of these like older RPGs just because, like especially experiencing it with someone else, like because there's like there like if you're just trying to experience with someone else, it's kind of hard because like there's so much reading, dude. Like you're just like sitting there like like reading everything like to one another. It's almost like you're just like reading a book in a way. Like I mean, there's not that much, but like it's not like modern games where like they just like say everything. You just sit there. Um,
It's like one of those like games where like you have to read through a bunch of stuff because that's like how they
that's the
communicate.
story, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a lot to get through that, and then also not only that, like the whole time too, like these older games too, like especially some of these RPGs, like figuring out what to do, you're just like, dude, what the hell? Like, where the hell do I go next? So like, also at the whole time we are reading a guide, like a
Mm.
strategy guide that I had printed off, and yeah, so I mean, it was a lot, but we finally beat it, and I'm glad. It's a great game. Like, I've always wanted to beat this game. I like the first time I ever started playing this game was like back when I was in 8th grade, and I just never beat it. I mean, obviously, when we started it last year, we started from the beginning, but like it's just been a game that I've been meaning to beat for the longest time. I guess it's actually semi related to anime too, because one of the lead designers that designed all the characters is Akira Toriyama, who obviously
Mm.
does all the work for Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, it was cool. A great game. I recommend it. But it's not actually that long. The game's like about 25 hours. It's just really involved. There's a lot of stuff that you have to figure out how to do, and you know, yeah. But it was a good game.
Mm. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay. Yeah,
So yeah, I've definitely had a busy last 2 weeks.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, like it's been like a while since I played any of those games where it's just like just reading like the story, like it's like as they like give the dialogues. It's been like a while since I have
I bet you the
played
last
it.
game you probably played like that was like Pokemon or something, right? Because like that's you still have to read and all those.
I've never played Pokemon.
You've never played a single Pokemon game, really?
I mean, I've played the one on the Pokemon Go.
I thought you've played it before. I'm actually shocked that you've never once played a single Pokemon.
No, no, I don't know, like the emulators, like so one my parents never bought me like one of those like Pokédexes that where I could play it on.
Or
Like
you
they
mean
did.
a Game Boy?
Is it a Game Boy? No,
Yeah,
do
no, it's a
they have
Game
the
Boy.
Pokédex
No, you
game?
can't play on the Pokédex. It's just like an electronic thing.
Okay, well, a Game Boy. My parents never bought me like a Game Boy. Honestly, like the first gaming thing that they ever bought me was after I graduated high school. So, yeah, I never had any Game Boy or anything. So, I never really played any of the Pokemon games.
But
Not
but you had a
XY.
PlayStation 2. Who bought that?
Yeah, they did after I graduated high school.
Wait, after you graduated high school, you got a PlayStation 2?
Yeah, it was like a year. I think it was maybe it might have been 2 years after the PS3 came out.
Oh, did you like get it
Yeah.
like at a used store or something?
No, we got it at Best Buy.
I didn't even know they sold PS2s at like at 2 years after the PlayStation 3 was out.
They did. Not only that, they had a bunch of games. I think I bought Harry Potter as my very first game.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy might have been the first like game. I think that
And
might
you
have been
could,
actually the last
yeah,
game.
and that one of our friends had recommended that, but you tried to play that like way after you already had the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the PS4
But
after I
see, even for that
graduated.
Final Fantasy X, there's not like really. There's a little bit of reading, but like almost most of that game is fully voice acted. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game's even different. So I don't know if you've ever even played a game like this.
No, I did like I not like big games like 24 25-hour games or something, but like little games RPGs on like just websites, you know, just random RPGs.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Yeah.
Um like there's this one it's like this stick RPG game where I think you go and you do work you like do some work and then you're supposed to eventually move to the city and then like run for office or something. It was like some stupid RPG games like that. Um but, I mean
But
like
would it save your progress, or you had to beat it all at once?
um no, I don't think there was like a saved progress
Uh,
thing in
it was
this
just
sense, yeah.
some kind of like flash game online.
Yeah, it was just like a flash game. So
Uh,
no official like PlayStation console game, nothing like that. But like online, I'd play some of those kind of games. I think like text rollers or whatever they're called, something
okay,
like that. Yeah.
okay, interesting. Well, then you okay, whatever, man. I just remember one time you mentioned to me that you're like, oh, I might get a DS so I can play Pokemon.
Yeah, dude.
That's why
Like
that's why when you said that, I'm just thinking like, wait, why is he saying that? I figured you had played it before. I like you never said I might get a DS so I can play Pokemon for the first time ever in my entire life, but that's fine. Anyways,
I've always been meaning to get a Nintendo game station, but I've never like got one, and
hey,
it's
dude,
always
I
been something
sent
I've
you
been
that link one time.
wanting.
I sent you that link like a couple weeks ago. It was like $100.
Yeah.
You should have bought it.
Um, Maybe like I think right now I'm just going to try on to so I'm gonna try to be on the lookout to buy a PS5 because one of my other friends he has like a GameStop premium account or some weird
Oh
GameStop
yeah,
access thing that he has. And so he says just look out for if it's ever on sale on GameStop and if it is go ahead and I'm just gonna like text him and he said he'll buy it and I can just buy it from him basically.
dude. Okay. Well, hopefully the the demand for it goes down because by the time you text them, it's gonna probably be gone.
Probably. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's get into this episode.
Okay. It's actually multiple episodes on my end. Actually did go a little further out, but I think it should be fine. Um, yeah, I think it'll be fine. But yeah,
Yeah, we'll
go ahead.
I guess we'll figure out how many episodes it was from your end when we get to the end here.
Okay.
Yeah, so the episode ends with it snowing while they're still sailing the sea. They're trying to cool down Nami's fever in the room while Sanji is panicking. Vivi says they have to find an island soon, as it cuts to Luffy and Usopp, with Luffy asking if Usopp sees any islands yet. Usopp says, "Remind me not to get sick," as Zolo spots something and says, "Do you know the saying, no man is an island?" And I'm just like, first of all, I've never heard that saying. Okay, that's fine. But that's what he says. I've never heard of that saying. Have you ever heard that saying?
I've never heard of that thing.
Okay, yeah. So, do you know this imaginary saying that no one has ever said in the history of the world? And anyways, so he then asks Luffy says, "Oh, do you see something?" As they all see this weird floating guy on the water with a big, like he has like a big bow and arrow on his back and a cape, and he kind of looks like a jester of sorts. Um,
So,
yeah,
actually, yeah, in mine, what he says basically Zoro, he basically asks Luffy and Usopp like, hey, have you ever seen a man standing on water?
yeah. I don't know why he doesn't say that. Like, what the hell kind of turn of like who? Where are these people that are translating the Four Kids dub here? Like, I'm sorry, they've done so. Maybe I shouldn't be picking this battle, but like, I've never in my life heard anyone say like, why didn't they say, "Have you heard of a man standing on water"?
Yeah, it was weird. Um, because that's basically what he says in the Funimation is that hey, they say no, and then they're like, well, you might want to look, and then they look and they see a man, so basically similar to what you said. So yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if "No Man is an Island" is like some literal like Japanese translation or something that like they literally translated it. It makes no sense to us. It may make sense to Japan. I don't know. I have no clue what the hell that means. But
Yeah.
anyways, Luffy says, "Wow, that's a cool buoy," and Usopp says, "I almost thought it was a man." As the quote unquote buoy replies, "I am." It then cuts to a captain saying, "Bring us up now," as a gigantic ship leaps out of the water, almost toppling the Going Merry. Luffy says, "Well, for a man, he's fast," as the ship begins to get bigger and bigger, and it's revealed the ship is designed after a giant hippo.
Mm. Yeah, no, we don't get that it was designed after a giant hippo. I
No,
think
I mean,
we
you see the ship. It's not revealed, but like
yeah
you see the ship. Like they don't say it's
yeah.
revealed after a giant hippo, but that's what I'm saying. Like the ship is a has a giant hippo on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does,
Cool.
right? In yours, it's a hippo.
I don't think I remember watching seeing a hippo. It just looked like
But,
a regular ship.
but the guy that comes off the ship has like a hippo thing on.
Oh, like the fact that he has like a big mouth?
No, he has. Oh my. Okay.
It's
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, man.
no. Yeah, I remember. Like, yeah, the ship comes out, and then you see a guy. I think he goes by the name Wapol. Um, and he has like a big mouth with like a big like chin, like a huge metal chin mouth. That's like insanely big. Not like a hippo mouth. I don't think there was a hippo mouth.
Yeah, his head is a hippo. The thing that he's wearing is a hippo. It looks just like the ship.
I'd have to watch it again because it's like it
Here, I'm sending you a
maybe there's
picture.
yeah, okay.
It
Let me see if I
what he's wearing matches the ship.
Oh, is that the photo? Like, is that him? Like, or are you talking about the mouth?
No, I'm talking about the thing that he's wearing.
Oh, I wonder if it's the jacket. Maybe I didn't look at the jacket properly.
Yeah,
That might
that
have been what it is. Oh, okay. I
see
might have
how
just not paid attention to the jacket.
okay. But that's how the ship looks too.
Oh, yeah. The ship looks like him. Yeah, it looks like him, but like,
Okay.
no. I was confused about the hippo. I was just like, I don't remember it looking like a hippo, but maybe I'm just misremembering. But no, yeah, go ahead.
All right. If anyone that's listening wants to correct me and it's not a hippo, but it looks like a hippo to me. There's a giant hippo on the ship. Anyways, I guess that has nothing to do with him.
Okay.
But okay. So yeah, Sanji runs up and asks if they're okay, and Luffy says everything's fine except for us being attacked. And then we all notice that the
So,
pirates have hopped aboard their ship.
so here's the funny part. So it's like as the ship was emerging, one of the things that was so funny is how casually they showed Sanji lifting the bed Nami was in, because the whole boat was rocking, and then Sanji lifted Nami's bed with his hands, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on up there? The boat's really rocking. You guys better not be doing something to wake up Nami or something." He's just like just holding like Nami's like mattress just by his one hand. Like it's like insane how like um just they casually mention his strength as being that strong. I thought it was just hilarious when they did that. And so yeah, basically yeah, Sanji comes up and then he's like, "What's going on?" And then we just see him pull out his cigarette and calmly light his cigarette. And then Luffy says, "Everything's fine. It's just we're being attacked." And then we pan out and we see all of the enemies pointing guns at every single person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Same thing. So Sanji then says, "Looks like we have some company for dinner." As the captain says, "Nothing they cook could fill his appetite, as he's always hungry." Uh, and then I say, we then see the captain, who is a gigantic fat dude wearing a wool hippo coat. The captain says, "The price you pay for possessing this is the price that you pay for possessing the powers of munch fruit." And he says, "Hand over all the treasure, or I'll start snacking." He then rips a part of the ship off with his mouth and begins eating it. Sanji then prepares for a fight as the buoy guy and the some other fellow aboard the ship say, "Let's oblige." Um, and the other dude on ship has like an afro. Uh, we don't get any of their names yet. Sanji then begins attacking all the pirates and knocking them down one by one as Zolo runs down from the mast, slicing into several of them. Luffy then comes running, punching several of them down as the captain grabs a hold of his arm and says, "This guy chews like bubblegum," before Luffy flings him out into the sea. The jester buoy pirate says he's gone and didn't get to finish his dinner as they decide to sail off, and that at this time they reveal the captain's name is Wapple, and that all the cannonball and he says all the cannonballs that the captain ate earlier will probably sink them, so they're trying to go save the captain. um, Sanji says he's never heard of that captain, as Vivi said she knows him but she's not sure how. So yeah, that's where this part leaves off. Anything that I may have missed or that was cut out?
So actually, when they land on their ship, they're just like, "Hey, we're trying to find our way to Drum Island," and he asks them, "Do you guys have a log post or a eternal post or something?" And Sanji says, "No, we don't have any of that." And then he's like, "Well, then he says, okay, well, if you guys don't have that, well, then I'll just take your treasure." and and then that's basically like when the whole fight starts. Obviously they obviously don't have any treasure, but then yeah, Wapple comes in and then he takes a bite out of the ship and he starts eating it, and then obviously the fight commences, and then he starts to bite into Luffy, and then Luffy obviously he like throws him out into the ocean, and then yeah, one of the guys says he's as soon as he hits the water he's gonna sink because he's a devil fruit user, so they basically grab all their injured because they all got beaten up by Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro, and then they head back into their ship and they are going to go look for Wapol before he sinks and dies.
You know,
So yeah,
I didn't think about the thing about the devil fruit or the gum gum fruit or the cursed fruit. Sorry, as they call it for kids.
yeah.
I don't know why he's. Why didn't they just say the cursed fruit? They like had to like divert the fact that not all cursed fruit does that, and they're like, no, he ate too many cannonballs. But okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We then see. Okay, so we then see Captain Chaser's ship, and someone mentions that they just got a communication they intercepted that mentions Straw Hat. We then see Toshigi in her room talking to her sword as Chaser says to report to him at once. She runs towards Chaser, falls down a set of stairs, accidentally flips her sword into the air, and it almost comes crashing down on her. Captain Chaser then says his dark transponder snail, which is spyware, just intercepted quite the discourse. They hear the transponder say, "This is Mr. Zero. We can assume he's with Princess Vivi." Uh, Captain Chaser says, Mr. Zero, Luffy, and Vivi, that's all we need, as Tashigi mentions that they've captured Mr. 11. It then cuts to a guy with a top hat and feathers and a ruffled suit, as Tashigi says she wonders if there's any connection. Chaser says it must be some secret society, as Mr. 11 says, that's silly, there's no secret crime syndicate. And then Chaser goes, I didn't say syndicate, I said society. And then Mr. 11 says, that's what I meant. As Chaser says, your secret is out. Then Chaser says, regarding the info about Vivi, she's a princess from Alabasta Kingdom. And he then tells Tashigi to plot a course for Alabasta, so they can find their answers, and then Straw Hat. So that's the end of this like short part with Chaser.
Yeah, so a couple of changes. I mean, those things are straight for the most part. When we see Tashigi in her room, she's actually admiring her sword, and then she's like, "Wow, this sword is really great." Just the short time in the Grand Line, and we already were able to get this like great sword. I think she called it Chashu. I'm not sure, or maybe it's Chashu. I don't know. So yeah, she's just admiring swords. Then Smoker yells at her to come over, and then we see her running over, stumbling, sword falls, lands right in front of her. Everything's fine. And then in the black transponder snail, they talk relay the thing that they captured, and then basically in the transponder snail, there's like this Mister Zero. He talks about how like moving forward they'll be like contacting them through letters or something, and then you pan out to the guy with the funny hat and Smoker. So Smoker then says, "Hey, are you part of this group?" And he's like, "No." And then Smoker says, "Well, then, can you explain the papers that were in your pockets?" And the guy is thinking to himself, he's thinking to himself, "Damn, how did they get these papers?" Then he's like, "No, those papers aren't what you think they are. They're not related." And then Smoker says, "Well, that's funny. We didn't actually find any papers in your pockets." And so yeah, so that's how they found out that yeah, this guy is probably involved into it, and then yeah, that's kind of the end of the sequence. So I, I don't know why they didn't just leave that because that would have been a funny Bugs Bunny kind of thing where like the
I
whole
actually, you like yours because you've seen it, but I actually like mine better.
so that they did the whole syndicate and like gang and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it
Um.
works both ways, but it's
Yeah.
interesting that they're completely different. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that they did like a misdirect to reveal his thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ahead.
It then cuts back to Luffy and crew as we see Nami still sick as ever in her room. Luffy says laughter is the best medicine as he begins to tell jokes and twist his face into a pretzel. It doesn't help as Luffy says, "What about impressions?" before his crewmates hit him and he flies against the wall. Sanji says it's getting dark and they better drop anchor, and Vivi says, unless he thinks the captain can handle it, and Sanji says no as a picture falls on top of Luffy. Um, we then see Nami wake up later on at night and she sees everyone sleeping. Specifically, everyone in the room is snoring. We then see Sanji up in the lookout saying it's freezing cold, but it sure beats everyone snoring down below. Um, we then see Sanji saying the weather has been all over the place, but it's starting to stable out. Usopp is seen, so it's like the next day now or whatever. Usopp is seen repairing the ship as Vivi begins to describe the different weather islands. She says there's fall islands, summer islands, spring islands, and winter islands. She says when the weather stabilizes, it means an island is nearby. Sanji then says he sees one, as Usopp says, hopefully it's something with a hot tub or a steam room. And Luffy says, no, snow is the way to go. Nami's seems really excited. Luffy seems really excited for the snow as Usopp asks how he cannot be cold as he's only wearing shorts, sandals, and a tank top. Luffy then realizes this and then becomes cold and mad that it was like pointed out, um, which I thought was really funny. just because it's like a little comedic bit, but honestly, it's kind of how I always am. Like like back when I worked in the office, everyone would always say it was freezing in there, but I would never think it was cold until someone mentioned that it was cold. So it actually kind of reminded me of myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
yeah. So that's what I have for this. Anything different?
Yeah. A couple of things. So I'd be surprised if they cut out this part. So yeah, it's this funny thing where like yeah the pitcher falls on like they smack Luffy, he lands somewhere, and then the pitcher smalls right smack dab on his nose
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, it was like a little comedic thing. And so Nami wakes up while everybody's sleeping, just kind of looking at everyone. And then Usopp, while he's like sleeping, he just like does like a little speak. He like talks in his sleep about how hey how he's like a great guy and everybody needs to stop asking him for autographs. And Nami's like scared, like she's just like not scared and like she's scared, but like she's just like like I don't know how to say it, like she's like she gets startled and she like jitters for a little bit, and then Usopp goes back to sleep, and then she's like, good. And then we pan out, and we see Sanji up there, and then he notices how it's cold. And then we see Usopp fixing, and then Sanji realizes that he accidentally slept, and while he was on lookout. And then we see, and then that's when yeah you see Vivi talk about how there's like different islands on the Grand Line. And yeah, Luffy talks about getting ready for an adventure. Sanji tells him that we're only there to go save for Nami. We're not going on there for an adventure. We just want to go get a doctor for Nami and then leave. um, and then Luffy is still excited about the white snow. He talks about how the snow is so white and stuff. And then Sanji and Usopp realize that it's not going through to his head. And then it gets it's like they're approaching a snow island, and they ask Luffy, "Hey, like it's cold, aren't you cold?" And then Luffy thinks for a second, and he's like, "Oh, actually, yeah, it is kind of cold." He starts shivering and stuff. And then Sanji and Usopp are yelling at him, "Oh, you just now noticed that it's cold." And yeah,
Well, I do want to say they didn't that thing with Usopp waking up was in there too, or like talking in his sleep. I just didn't bring it up, but yeah, that was in there.
yeah, I thought it was just like a really comedic thing that I figured I'd mention. But yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So. All right. Yeah. So it's. Yeah. So as they're trying to dock, Vivi says there seems to be no sign of life. They'll have to go inland. On foot, as Zolo asks if there's any volunteers, including you, Usopp, is what he says. Sanji and Luffy agree to go, as Usopp says, I'll stay on the ship.
Mhm.
As soon as he says that, we find them surrounded by the village folks, stating, he's right, you guys will stay on the ship. Um, they turn their heads and see villagers with guns pointed at them, like tons of villagers. Um, we then notice, okay, so there's something that is clearly cut out here, because all of a sudden it cuts to Vivi uh, lying on the ground, and Luffy freaks out and says Vivi, and then Vivi states it's okay, the shot just grazed my arm. You never see her get shot.
Yeah, yeah.
So she
So
gets shot in the arm.
yeah, basically what happens is, there's like all these people pointing. They ask them, "Hey, are you guys pirates? You guys are pirates. Don't get on our island. Leave," or something like that. Um, and then like it's like a very tense scene, and then some guy shoots right at Sanji's leg, and Sanji is like getting frustrated, and he was like about to attack the guy, but then Vivi stops him, like grabs onto him and stops him, and then the guy who shot at Sanji's leg, he shoots another time. And this is actually the end of one of the episodes, is that Vivi gets shot and she falls on the ground. And yeah, then yeah, like Luffy like he gets mad, Sanji gets mad, everybody like Zoro, Usopp, they all get mad. And Luffy was about to go attack, but then Vivi stops her and tells Luffy, stops Luffy and tells Luffy, it's fine, it just grazed my arm. And she tells Luffy, you can't be a pirate of a ship if you think everything can be solved with violence. And then I guess I'll say it because I think you're about to say this too. But basically, she then gets down on the ground, head forward on the head forward on the floor, and she begs them, "Hey, we're just looking for a pirate." And then Luffy recognize, and then Luffy kind of
You mean they're
see,
looking for a nurse?
yeah, a
Yeah,
doctor or
yeah,
nurse. And Luffy kind of like sees what she's doing, and then he also says okay, and then he also gets down on the ground, head on the floor, and then he also says, "Hey, we're here peacefully. We're just looking for a doctor to save one of our crewmates who's really sick." And yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah. That's what happens. So right after I just, I mean, they had to cut it because they didn't want to show, like, I guess a wound or whatever. But like, like the cut was so bad. Like they didn't even have a sound or anything. Like they could have had like the sound of a gun, but no, it like literally just cuts to her like lying on the ground. So that was like
Okay.
the weirdest freaking edit I've seen so far. Um,
I think it was because the blood was dripping off of the off of her arm that Luffy kind of respected what she was trying to
yeah,
do, and he heard that like kind of like inspired him to also do the same. But yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so the member says, one of the members says, "I'll guide you to town. Follow me." They begin walking, following a leader who says he'll take them into a town that has no name. And he says that there's a witch that knows medicine. All of a sudden, Usopp sees a gigantic bear and says, "Monster! Everyone play dead!" And he drops on the ground. The villager says, "That's just Teddy, the resident mountain man, ever since he ate the old mountain man." And the bear just like walks by, and the bear has like a cane. Um, so it's just kind of like a comedic bear, I guess. I don't know if that bear is going to come back and be a character.
um, I think so. In mind, he didn't eat some other guy and absorb his attributes. No, it's just yeah. So they see the bear. Usopp tries to hide, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's just a hiking bear. Just he's of no harm. Like he's. I think it's either he's a hiking bear, or I think it is he's a hiking bear.
See,
I
they
don't
should
know.
have said that. I like the way they said it's the mountain man ever since he ate the other mountain man. I'm like, that's I guess it's kind of a funny joke, but like it's kind of
Yeah,
stupid at the same time.
because yeah, they just say that he's a hiking bear, and he's like bow, like bow at him as you're walking to show some respect, and they all do, and then Usopp's embarrassed. But yeah, it's weird that they went in a dark direction where it's like, yeah, he ate a person and like absorbed his attributes as that. That's a
Yeah, like see, that's the thing. They don't even like. It's kind of weird too that he has like a cane or a hiking stick because you're like they don't even mention that he's hiking. So it's just like, why is this guy holding the cane? Like you don't like it makes more sense that he's a
Mm,
hiking bear. To me, that's funnier, but whatever. Um,
yours is definitely more darker.
I
Maybe
know. I think yeah. I mean, mine implies that someone's died, but whatever.
someone got eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, we then see Zolo training in the cold as Karu is freezing. As they arrive in town, they notice various animals. Luffy remarks about them. Usopp says, "Yeah, but there's no hot tub here." Villagers refer to the leader as Dalton, and they say they brought him here. Now what? They brought them there. What? Now what? Dalton says, "Just make sure there's no double crossing." Vivi asks what they mean by that, and they said they've been double crossed before. Dalton says it's a long story. Why don't they just head inside? They get Nami into a warm bed as Dalton says they can't be too careful these days as people aren't always who they state they are. Vivi looks like a little bit nervous, but she mentions that Nami's fever is really high and where's the witch? Dalton says that she's in the castle on top of the mountain peak that you can see from outside the window. So,
Mm.
Sanji asks if the witch was a queen, and he says No, but there was a king at one point, but he's gone. Sanji then asks if they have to go up there since and Dalton says yes. There's no way to contact her from down here, and that they have to go up there because she's 100 years old. Dalton then says there's one more thing about her you need to know. She loves prunes. Um, Vivi then says Nami's life is on the line. They just have to trust the old lady, whomever she is. We then get a preview of the old witch in the castle, but only part of her face and glasses as the episode ends.
Okay. So, few things different. So, the guy, he doesn't really. So as soon as they kind of lead him into the village, um, they basically say, okay, are you good here? Should we go? About our own ways. He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I'll take care of them. They don't look like they're dangerous. And so they part ways, and that's when Vivi asks Dalton, like, "Oh, these guys aren't your guards. Like, they're just like regular citizens." He's like, "Yeah, they are." And and then I think one person who passes by, they talk about how there's like an election, and they're going to vote for Dalton, and then he's like, "Oh no, I'm just like a citizen here who's just head of the security forces. Don't vote for me or something like that." And then they go in, and then that's where Dalton tells them about how the island has one doctor. He mentions how the doctor name is Dr. Kureha, and he mentions how she's like 140 years old. Um, is it 140 or 130? I think it's 140.
Well, that's older than she was in here.
Yeah. and and then he talks about how like she's located up in the mountain up there, in the castle up that top mountain, and they look out, and when they look out initially they see like a big snowman because Luffy and Usopp are just playing around, and then Sanji gets mad. He's like, you two get in here real quick, and then that's when he starts to tell about how yeah, there's this like doctor named Dr. Kureha. She comes down when she wants to, and she looks for patients, and once she fixes the patients, she'll pretty much take whatever she wants from that place, and she'll take it away. Like, she'll just take it as her payment, and that's how it is. um, she comes down when she wants to, so it's not like the and then he tells them that like there's no way of contacting her. She just comes when she wants to, so that's why like they have to climb up the mountain. And then Luffy says, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And then you see a little glimpse of Kureha, and then you see her. It's like a weird kind of Santa Claus thing meets witch thing, like she looks like a witch that you see in like cartoons. She kind of has that, but then like the image of Santa Claus where there you see a single reindeer. That's kind of how the image is, like her kind of like riding with the reindeer, like pulling the sleigh. And yeah, that's how it is. And
Yeah,
yeah,
they didn't show that part yet. they
I
they
mean,
I mean maybe they will show more of that part like as the episode begins. I don't know.
oh, I mean, they
There,
when
so
he
there's a
referenced,
reindeer.
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't show that.
yeah. She's like on a sleigh, and like the reindeer is pulling the sleigh.
Yeah, they just like all you see in the four kids is just like a like you barely even see her full face and you just see glasses on and it's like some older woman.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens next episode. But yeah, that's so they don't mention that she loves prunes.
No.
Okay, I guess that's just an old I guess that's just an American way to say someone's old because they like prunes. But
Yeah.
okay.
This is episode 79 in its full, and part of episode 80. Um, so,
It's so funny how far ahead you guys are. Like yours is compared to mine. I'm on freaking episode 48. You're like, oh man, it's funny how much stuff was cut out.
Dog, episode 48. So episode 40, 70 and 80, yeah. So episode 48 is let me see what episode 48 is in Funimation. Episode 48 is the town of beginning and the end, the landfall at Log Town. So this is when they
Oh my
enter Log
god.
Town in.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Yeah.
there's there's no filler at all in the Four Kids, baby. They just cut straight down to the point.
I mean, I don't think there was a filler in up until that episode.
No, I'm just saying they just cut stuff out too. Like if
Yeah,
they think anything in the main anime, the main story is filler, they cut it out. That's the way to go.
dog. I mean, my goodness, man. 48 while I'm in freaking 80. That's insane.
Yep. Well, we have to realize
I
like
mean,
last season from my side was like what they considered season two was like 4 or 5 episodes. So
we're not even on season 2 at episode 48. Like season 1, even if you want to cut out the fillers, even if you cut out the fillers, it would be at least like 52, 53, or something like that. So let me see. 48 was they entered that. Uh, let's see. If they were to cut out the fillers, let's see, that would be all of 59, 51. Um, 50, 51, they would have to cut out. Um, I'd say they can probably keep in 49. So 48, 49, and 53. 52, 53. Let's just combine those to two. So hmm, that's like 3 episodes until the end of just season 1. Like, and then like there's obviously like the whole filler arc at the start of season 2. That's like, let me see, one, two, three, 4 episodes. Five. Yeah, wait, hang on. One, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight episodes of filler. Before they even get to that. But like, my goodness, man. Man, dang. They cut out so much.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see out what more they cut out. But yeah, that was it
Yeah.
from this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks.
Later.
Later.